All right. So somebody asked me to do a video on Gnostic thought, which I previously covered in some other videos covering this topic of Gnosis, basically, and what it entails, or the perspective of someone who is of Gnosis. The problem with Gnostic thought, of course, is it's not for the public. It's not a idea that the masses won't take lightly because basically it flips everything inside out, upside down. Everything you think is good is evil. Basically, when you get into Gnosis, when you're talking about creation, humanity itself is considered an evil. So this is not something that is going to bolster your hopes and dreams for humanity. And a lot of people shy away from it, or they hate it, or they will persecute you for saying it. I mean, people get killed for, at least back in historic ancient times. Historically, people of Gnosis have been persecuted because it's basically a deep, ugly truth about the origins of the spirit and how it got trapped in matter. And that's what this is about. A lot of people in the black conscious community, especially, um, are just not going to embrace Gnosis because it goes against the whole agenda, which is finding solutions for humanity. But see, those of Gnosis, we know that there is no permanent solution anyway, because you're in an impermanent realm. And so that just defies logic to think you're going to come up with a solution to save people who basically are just trapped in cycles of birth and death. So there's no way you're going to really fix this earth thing. And that's what the true religion is about transcending this earth plane on this flat earth, because it's an imperfection, it's a fall. This is where you get the fall of man. So like I said, this is not even for everyone. It's just for the few who still aren't satisfied with the everyday consciousness debates, and as far as health and politics, it's the same old human thought, which is really going nowhere because it's not piercing enough. There's a saying that in order for the truth to penetrate, or truth will penetrate and it's gonna hurt, basically. And that's what the Gnosis Gnostic thought is. It's penetrating truth. It's gonna hurt because when we discuss humanity, humanity is nothing but a egoic, greedy, desired-filled monster, basically. And what humanity is something that turns away from the light, and it seeks to perpetuate itself in this cycle blindly. It's ignorance, delusion, and craving. It's greedy. Spirituality and gnosis is turning around and cultivating the light within, not building up the world or perpetuating the world, because this world always ends up in the same dump, which is decay and death. You can't save the world, it's impossible. So, like I said, humanity is considered basically a monster. This is not divine. Human is not divine. Like a lot of people say, the human body is a temple of God. No, it's not the temple of God at all. It's the fall of God. There's a saying in Alvin Boyd Hume's book where he discusses Satan, and basically what Satan is God covered in the slime of humanity, basically. So in that way, you could say that human is God, but no, actually, human is Satan, which is God turned inside out. It's a fall. It's God in the bestial nature of humanity. So that's the basic outlook on anyone who understands gnosis. Is that this is a trap. We need to transcend this place, or these, metaphorically speaking, these light particles need to be liberated from this slime of matter, which has no end goal. It's just a perpetual cycle of birth and death, growth and decay. It's blind, and its function is evil. Even when you look at what Buddha talked about, he mentioned that the issue with procreation, and this is a big issue where we see in the conscious community a lot of people celebrate, and this is not misogyny. I'm speaking about function, and we're just judging the functions of nature, not genders per se. But when we talk about the black woman as goddess and the black man as God, and we show the black woman with the baby in the stomach, somewhat of gnosis, this is the worst possible scenario of birth, because all you're talking about is another creature that's going to suffer, toil, and die. And we're romanticizing this. To romanticize that is humanity, but it's not consciousness. This is where the line gets drawn, and this is where 80% of people listening now shut it off, because what I'm talking about is the whole inside out other direction. We're turning around the whole other way because we can see the foolishness in all of this. This is going nowhere. Regular humans do that stuff, but when you're talking about consciousness, real light, you're not talking about following the course of nature and humanity. You're talking about reversing it. So, why? Because nature is a self-devouring monster. You have to look at what nature produces. Just look at the nature channel. Honestly, because basically what I'm noticing is we're like Bobby used to say, you still have this Christian programming where you think creation is divine, or let's just say we still have a mass religious program where we take it for granted to assume that creation is divine or ordained. So you don't say Allah, you don't say God in the Christian context, but we say things like the universe, the universe experiencing itself. That's ignorance, because all the sages understand that this is a fall, and if you look at the functions of nature, they are perverted and sadistic. You're talking about a dog eat dog world, and especially when you get into the animal kingdom. You're talking about carnage, brute, savage, evil. I mean, it's basically evil, and a lot of people don't think that you can. It's not. There's no such thing as good or evil. You can't judge it. It just is what it. No, it's evil. There's no reason for a divine source to create this realm with such brutality and selfishness. So we know this is an imperfection. It's an evil, sadistic mind behind this creation. And the whole point is that the pure light needs to transcend this place or get back home, build a bridge back to its home, which is of the uncreate, no space, no time. This is what Gnostic thought is about. So you have to really, prepare to accept certain thoughts and ideas along these lines, because they're not easily digested. And it's going to be a leap from all this new age consciousness, and especially with this new flat earth revelation. I know some people don't believe it yet, but trust me, it's true. Earth is flat and there is no outer space, which means the whole conscious community, new age, pseudo, this whole pseudo-scientific UFO age is done. Earth is flat. There is no outer space. We live within the waters, like the Egyptians said. Therefore, all that new age morality and relative moralism about no good, no evil is thrown out the window. That's crap. We have to go back to the ancients. And all the ancient material basically falls in line with Gnosis and this type of wisdom that I'm telling here, which is even Hermes talked about it, which is getting past the world, this fallen world that we find ourselves in. So that's just a basic general overview for now, introduction. Like I said, someone mentioned it to me and I thought I'd go back over it. So, peace.